You know that feeling when your mind won't stop? When one worry leads to another and another until you're lying awake at night, replaying conversations that haven't even happened yet? Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the ancient world, felt it too. And in his private journal, he wrote something that might change how you see anxiety forever. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the hidden mechanism that keeps your anxiety alive and the ancient Stoic technique that can finally break the spiral. This isn't about positive thinking or breathing exercises. This is about understanding something fundamental that most people never realize about how their mind creates suffering. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you felt anxious? Really anxious? Now, if I asked you what you were anxious about, you'd probably give me a list. Your job, your relationship, money, health, the future. But here's what the Stoics discovered over 2,000 years ago, something that modern neuroscience is only now confirming. You're not actually anxious about those things. You're anxious about your thoughts about those things. And more specifically, you're anxious because you're trying to control things that can't be controlled. This is the hidden cause, the one almost no one talks about. Epictetus, a former slave who became one of history's greatest philosophers, put it simply: some things are up to us and some things are not up to us. Sounds obvious, right? But watch what happens when you really examine your anxiety. Let's say you're worried about a presentation at work. You rehearse it in your mind. You imagine your boss's reaction. You picture yourself stumbling over words, forgetting key points, seeing disappointment in people's eyes. Your heart races. Your stomach tightens. You feel that familiar dread. But here's the thing, none of that is happening. You're not giving the presentation right now. You're sitting in your room, or your car, or wherever you are, completely safe. So why does your body feel like it's under threat? Because your mind has confused imagination with reality, and more importantly, it's trying to control an outcome that doesn't exist yet and may never exist at all. Modern psychology calls this anticipatory anxiety. Neuroscientists have found that when we ruminate about future events, our amygdala, the brain's fear center, can't distinguish between a real threat and an imagined one. It responds the same way. Your ancestors used this mechanism to survive. If they heard rustling in the bushes, their brain would simulate all possible dangers, preparing them to fight or flee. That was useful when the danger was a predator. It's not useful when the danger is a hypothetical conversation 3 days from now. The Stoics understood this without brain scans or research papers. They observed their own minds with ruthless honesty, and they developed a practice that modern cognitive behavioral therapy has essentially rediscovered and repackaged. They called it the dichotomy of control. Here's how it works. Take any source of anxiety and ask yourself, what part of this is actually within my control right now? Not what you wish you could control, not what you think you should be able to control. What can you actually control in this present moment? Let's go back to that presentation. Can you control whether your boss likes it? No. Can you control whether you get promoted afterward? No. Can you control whether someone in the audience judges you? No. Can you control whether you feel nervous? Surprisingly, no. Feelings arise on their own. But here's what you can control. You can prepare your material. You can practice your delivery. You can choose to focus on being clear rather than perfect. You can decide to show up and do your best. That's it. That's the list. And here's where the ancient technique comes in. Once you've identified what's truly in your control, you do something radical. You let go of everything else. Not in a passive, defeated way, but in a powerful, liberating way. You stop spending mental energy on outcomes you can't influence. You stop rehearsing scenarios that haven't happened. You bring all your attention back to what you can actually do right now. Seneca described it like this: we suffer more often in imagination than in reality. If you're finding this helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you subscribed. This channel is all about bringing ancient wisdom into modern life, and your support helps me keep creating these videos. No pressure, just if it resonates. Let me tell you a story. There's an old Stoic parable about a traveler who came to a philosopher, anxious and exhausted. "Master," he said, "I'm traveling to Athens and I'm terrified. What if I'm robbed on the road? What if I fall ill? What if the ship sinks? What if I arrive and find my family has forgotten me?" The philosopher listened, then asked, "Are you on the road right now?" "No," said the traveler. "Are you ill right now?" "No." "Is the ship sinking right now?" "No, I haven't even boarded yet." "Then," said the philosopher, "you're not experiencing one disaster. You're experiencing dozens of disasters that don't exist. You've left the present moment, where you're safe, and you're living in a future you've invented. Come back, be here. Then decide what to do next." This is the practice, and it's harder than it sounds, because your mind will resist. It will tell you that worrying is productive, that if you just think about it enough, you'll find a solution, that letting go means you don't care. But that's not true. The Stoics weren't passive. Marcus Aurelius led armies. Epictetus taught students. Seneca advised emperors. They acted powerfully in the world, but they didn't waste energy on what they couldn't control. Here's how you can start using this today. Tonight, or right now if you can, take 5 minutes, sit quietly. Think about whatever's been making you anxious lately. Write it down if that helps. Then divide a page into 2 columns. On the left, write everything about this situation that's outside your control. On the right, write everything that's within your control. Be honest. Be specific. You'll probably find that the left column is much longer than the right. That's normal. That's how life is. Now here's the key. For everything in the left column, practice saying, "I release this. This is not mine to control." You might need to say it 100 times. That's okay. You're retraining your mind. For everything in the right column, ask yourself, what's one small action I can take today? Not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, today. This is what the Stoics called living in accordance with nature. Not nature like trees and rivers, but nature as in reality. As in what actually is, rather than what you wish it were or fear it might become. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "Confine yourself to the present." Not because the future doesn't matter, but because the future doesn't exist yet. The only moment you ever have to work with is this one. And in this moment right now, you have everything you need. Your anxiety isn't a flaw. It's not a sign that something's wrong with you. It's your mind trying to protect you, using an ancient mechanism that's misfiring in the modern world. But you can work with it. You can gently, persistently bring yourself back to what's real and what's yours to handle. The spiral ends when you stop feeding it, when you stop trying to control the uncontrollable, when you come back to now. If this resonated with you, I'd love it if you'd hit the like button and let me know in the comments. What's one thing you've been trying to control that you're ready to release? Sometimes just naming it helps. And if you found this valuable, sharing it with someone who might need to hear it would mean a lot. Remember, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength.